So in this session we will discuss about Coriolis component of acceleration. We discussed in the previous section, that is, if let's say we consider a link which is pivoted about this point. Let's say this pivot point is A and I am finding velocity of B with respect to A. So if the 2 points are there having fixed distance means we know that distance between A and B remains same. So if distance between A and B remains same, then its velocity will be, how to find velocity? I'm just discussing here. So let's say same link here, if this link rotates clockwise, then velocity of this point B with respect to A, which is pivoted, must be perpendicular. This is your velocity of B with respect to A. And if I'm going to find acceleration, so this is your velocity. And if I'm finding acceleration, same link, we know that there are two components of acceleration. Total acceleration A will be equal to tangential acceleration plus centripetal or normal acceleration. And its direction is, when I'm finding acceleration of B with respect to A, its tangential acceleration will be perpendicular to link in direction of rotation. Assuming that rotates clockwise, therefore AT will be perpendicular to link in direction of rotation, while AC will be along the link and toward the center. So that we discuss about how to find acceleration and velocity of 2 points having fixed distance. Now as our topic is Coriolis component of acceleration, we will see now when this component will get added.
No.
So here we just discuss about if the 2 points are having fixed distance on a link, how to find velocity and acceleration. This is syllabus, or this is topic we cover in unit number 5. Now in addition to this, the Coriolis component will be there, and this component will be there only when, let's say consider the case when there will be Coriolis component. If you consider the same link, so this is all about relative velocity. We add to Coriolis component here. Let's say this will be a link pivoted about one point. The point is same, let's say it is A. And now instead of considering any fixed point on this link, we consider one slider. Let's say this will be a slider B, and this slider B is moving on this link. So slider B is allowed to slide on this link. Let's say this will be possible motion of slider. Slider B can slide, as well as slider B will allow to rotate along with the link. So rotation also possible. Means for this link, if you consider slider at this point, in this case, it will not remain permanently here, but it will slide either upward or downward. And if this link moves or rotate, then this slider also rotates. So there are two motions of slider. One is sliding motion and other will be a rotational motion. So remember, Coriolis component will present only when the link is having, or the point is having, the body is having sliding as well as rotational motion. Now we'll see how this component will be added. We consider same example. Let's say this will be a link. Here it will be a position of slider. Assume that this link is rotated through angle theta. So through this angle theta, this link is rotated. Now tell me, what will be the position of slider in the next case? As the link rotated through angle theta, it is assumed that this will be position. Answer is no, because slider is not sliding but also rotates. So it is not here, but at somewhere, let's say here, because the motion of slider, if it is B at this point, the final position will be B1. Now we'll think about why the slider is moving from B to B1 when that link rotates through angle theta. So it is due to the acceleration of slider, and that A of B with respect to A is equal to, now acceleration of B with respect to A we are talking about. Why A? If you are confused, I will give capital letters here. Acceleration of B with respect to A, where A is this pivot point, the B is slider, will be combination of 3 acceleration component. Here it was only 2, but now due to sliding and rotation there are three components. One is tangential acceleration, other will be a centripetal acceleration, and one more will be a Coriolis component. Now we'll see how the motion is. Now I told you, when the slider is moving from B to B1, it will move through path. The path will be like this. So this path I shown. The slider will assume to move from this point to this point due to tangential acceleration. From, let's say that intermediate link point is B dash. It moves from B dash to B double dash due to centripetal acceleration, and finally from B double dash to B1 due to Coriolis component of acceleration. So the motion is from B to B dash due to tangential. I'm just showing here. B to B dash due to tangential. B dash to B double dash due to centripetal, and finally from B double dash to B1 due to Coriolis component. So this component is added here due to rotation as well as sliding motion, which was not in unit number 5 when we discussed when the distance between 2 points remains fixed. Now the question is how to determine its magnitude and direction. So Coriolis component, I'm not going to discuss derivation here, but I'm telling you just magnitude of Coriolis component ACC, that is Coriolis component of acceleration, is equal to twice Vs into omega. So what is Vs? Vs is sliding velocity. This slider is moving. Vs is sliding velocity, while omega is angular velocity of this link. This link is rotating with angular velocity omega, and the slider is sliding with velocity Vs. So ACC is equal to twice Vs into omega. So this equation twice Vs into omega will give you magnitude of Coriolis component of acceleration, where Vs is sliding velocity and omega is angular velocity of link on which the slider is sliding. Now there are 4 cases we need to discuss to find out direction. To find direction, of ACC, there are 4 cases we have to discuss. Let's say 1, 2, 3 and 4. What these cases are, let's say all these links are pivoted about fixed point as usual. And we'll consider slider here. Now in the first case, assume that this link rotates clockwise and the slider is moving upward. So motion of slider is upward. In the second case, we consider slider is moving downward while the rotation is clockwise only. In next case, assuming the link to be rotated anti-clockwise in both last cases. Now again, slider moves upward, and in the last case, slider moves downward. So what will be direction of Coriolis component in this case? It's very simple. The rule is, I'm writing here, rotate. How to find direction? Rotate velocity vector through 90 degree in direction of rotation so this is thumb rule, or this is hint to find out direction. Rotate velocity vector through 90 degree in direction of rotation. So how it rotates? Clockwise. If it rotates clockwise, where is your velocity vector? See here, it is rotating outward. It is moving upward. So rotate this velocity vector clockwise. Why clockwise? Rotation is clockwise through 90 degree. So if I rotate clockwise through 90 degree, this is your velocity vector. This is your direction. So towards right. So my ACC will be towards right. Coriolis component of acceleration is towards right. Next, in this case, it is moving downward and we have to rotate clockwise. See the direction. Velocity vector is downward, rotate through 90 degree clockwise. Now clockwise means like this or like this. It will be anti-clockwise, this will be clockwise. So rotate clockwise. So this gives you direction of velocity. This is indicate tip of the velocity vector, this pointer. So this is your velocity vector. Very simple. Rotate vector through 90 degree in direction of rotation. So this will be your direction of rotation. ACC I am writing here. Now you tell me in this case, where is the velocity vector? You see the tip of the arrow. It is moving upward. How to rotate? See direction. It is very simple. Rotate velocity vector through 90 degree in direction of rotation. How it rotates? Anti-clockwise. Where the vector? Upward. So rotates anti-clockwise. This will be clockwise. So rotates anti-clockwise through 90 degree. This will be anti-clockwise. So this is your Coriolis component direction. You can try this for last case and tell me. It is moving downward. Rotates anti-clockwise. So you must be careful about rotation. Of course you have to rotate 90 degree, but clockwise or anti-clockwise. So it is anti-clockwise. Direction rotation anti-clockwise. So it will be clockwise or anti-clockwise. Yes or no? Yes, it is. This will be anti-clockwise. If I rotate like this, so from this point will be clockwise. See the tip I have to rotate clockwise. It will be clockwise and this will be anti-clockwise. The given direction is anti-clockwise. Therefore, rotate through 90 degree in clockwise in the given direction. So this will be your acceleration vector. I summarize this 4 cases. Whenever vector is given, rotate the vector through 90 degree in direction of rotation. In this case, rotation is clockwise. Rotate 90 degree, it will be towards right. Vector is downward. Rotate 90 degree, it is towards left. Vector is upward. Rotate 90 degree through anti-clockwise direction. It will be towards left. And in this case, it is towards right. These are the 4 possible cases of Coriolis component. So we summarize the lecture. What we seen? We seen in the first case, whenever the distance between 2 points, that is A and B, remains fixed, we need to find its velocity acceleration by using simple relative velocity and acceleration method, where there are only 2 components, tangential and centripetal. But if the point whose velocity and acceleration I am finding is moving with respect to pivot point, as well as, that is moving means I am saying rotating, as well as sliding, then there will be Coriolis component of acceleration. We seen how this component is there from initial to final position. Its magnitude is twice Vs into omega. There are 4 cases. How to get these cases? Rotate the velocity vector through 90 degree in direction of rotation. This is all about Coriolis component of acceleration.